All right, welcome everybody to our Duskmourn Top 8 Megadraft. I'm here with Spaghetti Mitch, and we are going to be following Aaron today. Aaron B, or Bevelman, who has made the top 8 here for, for Duskmourn. And we are drafting 6 packs, and it's going to be the 6 different packs that were open throughout Duskmourn, that were choices. So starting with Duskmourn, and then we'll be seeing the rest as we go along here. What do we like
Yeah.
from this pack here?
Not the most exciting pack
Yeah,
I've ever seen. Where's the rare here?
it's the land.
I'm trying to figure. Oh, okay. It's hard to see with this quality, the color of the symbol. Yeah, okay, the land. So it's not one of the 13 or less life lands. Can't see every single card. Nothing
Yeah,
stands out.
I think he
No,
clicked on
it's
the
literally nothing
sporogenic infection. I guess that's a very fair one to take here. Um, yeah, so
I'd say
we do have
so.
an extra wrinkle here of every rare that you select, your deck has to be one above 60. It does not matter if you play the card in your final deck. It's just whether you drafted it. So um, gotta be careful about the rares here, but we see a mythic that's it's it's a little too hard to cast. I would say it's the words on it aren't the problem. It's the top right of the card.
Meat hook massacre. No, that's great. Those are great words.
Oh, the
The
words
best
on it
word.
are great, but the problem is what's in the top right.
Yeah, the mana cost.
Yeah, so of note, since we're doing a bunch of different sets, something like Gremlin Tamer is going to go down a little bit in value. There is Theros, which is an enchantment set, but the rest of the sets aren't going to offer too much as far as enchantments go. We have MKM, we have Midnight Hunt, Crimson Vow, Theros, and then Shadows Remastered.
Sure. Yeah, I've been trying to look for that list. I saw it, someone tagged it, and I don't know where it is now. But you just said
Yeah,
it. So
those were the ones that
MKM,
were
then
available to be chosen during the league
yeah,
itself.
I think you said it in the correct order too.
I hope so. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, we
And do a
get
sir.
yeah. So as usual, the mega drafts you want more generic cards. Like if you can't find super powerful cards, you want more cards that are going to be good in a variety of decks, rather than like cards that were specific, like a Gremlin Tamer, right? Like if this was a draft of Duskmourn and you see a Gremlin Tamer, there's a good chance you're just grabbing it pretty early.
Yep.
But no, it's
So
cheap.
in chaos, you're not gonna be able to trigger Ear nearly as much, so it goes way down.
Yeah, I mean, Break Down the Door is not an exceptional card, but I like having a main deck artifact or enchantment removal that also just does something. So none of the modes are really good, are really mana efficient, but the versatility is pretty high there.
Now, did you notice the first two picks? I was looking elsewhere.
Yeah, he took sporogenic infection and murder.
Murder.
Yeah, again,
I don't.
I think he's got the right idea as far as like trying to go for cards that are just going to be like good in a variety of situations here, rather than cards that are good in their specifically good in their format.
Yeah, that's the trick for chaos.
Yeah, the veteran survivor was it had like two faces. The one face was like 80% of the time it just traded off for whatever, and 20% of the time it just absolutely dominated the game.
Veteran Survivor. Yeah, it doesn't feel good to lose to that. Oh, we got Marina's Vendril.
Marina Vendrell's Grimoire, yes. Um,
I like to call it Marina's Vendril and pretend Vendril's a noun.
oh, got it. I mean, it is a noun. It's a proper noun.
Proper noun. Yes, you are an English teacher, right?
I have been, yes. Yeah, the Grimoire not so good. Somebody played against me once and then died the next turn, literally to the text on the card.
I mean,
Val
omniscience
Mutilator.
Cracker is a bomb.
Val Mutilator. It's something to work towards, right? Is that the one where they sack a creature? Yeah, they sack a non-token enchantment and a non-token creature.
Yeah, it's additional cost, so it was made for the reanimation deck, which there's always reanimation cards almost in every set, at least
Yeah,
one,
that
something
card's
like.
like, I mean, it's impactful, but 7 mana is a lot, and having to sack something's a lot. But It's new, so you can make it work. Yeah, like if this was a Duskmourn draft, you would never see a paranormal analyst pick six, but it's not a normal Duskmourn draft. So
Yeah, there's a word that you're only going to find in this one set, so it's a good chance you're not going to need it.
yeah, I mean, if he wants to stay with, if you, I like taking like the Fear of Surveillance. That's just like a two drop that's probably going to make your deck if you're white. Like card's just solid, and like in Mega Drops, you just want two drops and three drops and cheap stuff to do.
Yeah, and getting if you ever set up an attack constantly with it, you're just choosing your next draw a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean it's nothing fancy. Twist Reality is it's okay, but
Oh,
it's here's another
another
paranormal, but
paranormal
once
animal.
again, same thing I said before. So Defile Crypt
Similar
was an interesting one. I feel like this card can work with a lot with basically every set. Every set has ways to play around with the graveyard.
Yep. This pack is two two picks, the same as the last one with the Fear Surveillance and the Analyst.
Yeah, I'm kind of okay with this pick. It's kind of like this is like a high ceiling pick. Like this card could
Can't
be
go wrong.
really good, but it can also just be sort of blank. But you're early enough in the draft that it's okay to take a card like that. There's a murder. I'm surprised. Like surprised murder's going eighth in like a basically what's a chaos draft where you just will always play these. So a little bit surprised.
Murder, of course, was in Murders at Karlov Manor, where it was pretty bad when you couldn't target the ward face down ward
Yeah,
creatures.
I believe it was also. It might have been in Shadows as a uncommon. I know it was an
And by
Eldritch Moon, so it might have been in Shadows as an uncommon.
couldn't target, I meant you have to pay extra.
Yeah, yeah, the ward creatures. Yeah, none of these cards are very interesting. I might. I was gonna say I might take the land, but it's a little punishing to take the land. See, like if we didn't have the added rider of your deck goes up by every rare. Like somebody would have just taken this land like as a speculative pick because
I probably would have messed up and done that already.
I would almost be tempted to take Meathook Massacre and see if I could get there. It's a tough ask, but Shroud Stomper is a
It's
good card. It is worth the
a very
7
good
mana.
card. It's like a rare. If it's not answered, you're gonna
And I
lose.
mean, I'm not super enthused about the two white cards here, but I mean, if you go white black, that's going to be a nice one.
If Shroud just has attacks, it's like really hard for the opponent to come back.
I mean, just coming into play, it's nice. I don't think any of these cards are going to make decks, so take whatever card. Same thing here. Yeah, these cards are not making the decks really.
And on to MKM. Was white. What was white black doing in MKM?
It was focused on getting small creatures into play. There was like
Two or
that.
less.
There was like a gold uncommon 4 mana 2/4. Whenever a 2 power creature enters, it was like a drain.
Yeah, two or less power.
Yeah,
The Delney stuff.
yeah, that too. I like the signaling here. You can have this grimoire. Enjoy it. Have fun.
I mean, yeah.
All right, so an okay pack here. It didn't really have too many great cards to choose from. It is coming out with a few removals, which is nice to have. And here's MKM, where there's a there's three rares here, so a bunch of people are
Two.
going to be a little unhappy about picking those up, I guess. But these are good
Funny.
lands, so
Funny. You put a Surveil land in your deck. You're like, yeah, it's gonna make my deck that much tiny bit more consistent. But yeah, it's adding a card to your deck, so it's probably hurting more. I
yeah.
don't know the math on
So
that.
how many murders do we want in a deck? That's the question.
Uh,
Because we can have another murder here. To be fair, this
there's
pack's not very powerful. Like the Boros card is good, but I mean he's a little far away from that being something he can do.
Bart Servitor needs some sort of help to
Yeah, that card
be good
was
enough.
very bad, I think. Yeah, the Sanguine Savior is like an okay card, but a good chance he could just wheel that and he'll be fine. I think he's just gonna take the safe pick here, which yeah, there's not really a high ceiling pick in this pack. Like you just take a murder and hopefully that'll work out.
You already have one.
He'll be able to kill creatures. War Leader's Call and Atrata.
That's
Both of those cards are really good.
yeah.
I
Wow.
I think I'm looking at possibly Etrata here. Was that the one? It was unblockable, was it, or something like that?
Okay, check. Um,
I can't remember all the text.
the one there's an Etrata from Guilds of Ravnica that was
Oh, that
can't be
one was
blocked. No,
unblockable.
this one is Death Touch, and all face down creatures you have could flip up for 2 blue black.
Yeah, and you
And
cloak the top card of opponent's library when it hits,
yeah,
or whenever an assassin you control.
whenever an assassin you control deals combat damage, cloak the top card.
Okay, so it's not
Cloak.
unblockable, but it's a 3 mana 1/4 Death Touch, which is extraordinarily difficult to block. Yeah, I think that's fine here. That's the best card. I mean, War Leader's Call is also really good, but he's for sure black, so taking War Leader's Call seems a little risky. I like that.
Oh, and another thing is the cloaked creature. The face down creature you can pay 2 blue black, but if it's not a creature, you can basically cast the card for free, which is for 4 mana.
Okay, so if it's not a creature under, you could still you could cast it. Is that it?
If you can't exile it, then you may cast the exile card without paying its
Okay,
mana
cool.
cost.
I mean,
Crazy plays you can do with that thing.
oh, you could do that with the manifests too, right? I don't think
Yeah,
it doesn't really have manifest cards, but it's a thing you can do.
that
All
would
right,
be
so
interesting.
there's some choices here. Um, I guess there's removals. Out cold is
There's
a good card. He wants to play
another
blue.
servitor has opened up
There's
out of
another
all the 8
murder.
packs.
I mean, murder is just better than this soul enervation, right?
Well, Innovation has some synergies to go with it, but yeah,
But
it's better.
how? Yeah, I'm wondering how murder is worse than that, and I don't think it is. Yeah, I mean, maybe he wants
Very
the
murder.
enchantment. Maybe he's planning to trigger it, but drag the canal. Which one was that? It was create a 2/2.
Oh yeah,
Okay, so create a 2/2. If a creature died this turn, you gain 2 life, surveil 2, and investigate. I
yeah,
mean,
that's
that
exactly it.
and a Trada seem like a good reason to go into a deck here. Like his white cards are not really very good, so
Yeah, blue black could be the thing.
yeah, I mean that's a signal. Like that card's good. Like
Blue black with zombies for the next 2 packs. The blue black will be zombie cards.
I mean, I remember in Midnight Hunt, Blue Black was like far and away one of the best decks. Decade was very very strong.
Diregraph Horde and the Organ Hoarder.
Yeah, I don't know how they'll do in this chaos format, but like those 2 cards that you named specifically are stand on their own. But was that a Lazak?
They got a lot.
Okay,
With another murder.
all right.
There's
Well,
murders everywhere.
I mean, he's basically being told what to do here by his neighbors, right? You cannot
Yeah.
really get clearer signals than they're all rares too, right?
Yeah, I guess that's not as good as normal
Got
to get all the
3 Demir
rares,
rares in a row. Yeah, this one was the one where when it attacks, you can exile something, and then
but
if you
it
sack a
becomes
clue, it
that if
becomes a
you.
copy of one of the cards that was exiled with it. Yeah. Okay.
That one I always had to read it. That's
I
what I
mean,
remember.
look, sometimes in Megadraft you have to scrounge for signals. Here, he's just being, there's sirens blaring as loud as possible. Do this.
So yeah, you investigate when you attack, so you don't need to keep getting clues from your cards to for
No,
it
when
to
it
come.
attacks you, exile target. Oh, and you still
Cards from
investigate.
your
Okay,
graveyard,
cool.
and then investigate. So you don't need like
Oh,
outside.
I'm just realizing now there was 3 Demir rares in that set. It's kind of wild. Well, one's a
Yeah.
mythic, I think, but
Is this a murder again?
yeah. I mean, I mean, Fairy Snoop is nothing to write home about. He will need
I wrote
more
home
than four
about it.
creatures at some point, but we have 6 packs. I think
Dear,
four
dear
murders.
mom,
I
the
think
fairy
four
snoop
murders
is
is
after me.
probably the number.
There's 3 murders at least in this pack, in this murders at Karlov Manor pack. Maybe 4.
Murders at Murders Murder. That's the new name of the set. Or that
Funny
could be the
enough,
name of his
their
deck.
second pack.
Yeah, this deck's pretty chunky. This meddler was never quite what. Suspect sort of fell a bit flat. I found. Oh,
Tipster's not quite as good in a chaos format because you can't get those face down things coming in.
oh yeah,
Not that that's why you need it,
yeah,
but
the tipper. Hotshot Investigators was return a tapped creature to its owner's hand and investigate if it was your own creature. Yeah, that card's not very exciting.
it's only a tapped creature.
Okay, I like the 2 drop here. burglar rat type fellow here. Pride of
Oh
Folk.
yeah,
Like, don't get me like, what is this design? This is like,
perfect.
how many drugs do you need to take before somebody's like, yeah, this is the card? How,
3 drugs.
how do you come
This
up with
one,
those
the
cards?
detective.
All right, I
The
mean,
detective will also have
Sanguine
some
Savior
card.
is a perfectly reasonable card here. Flip up for
Yeah,
black
public
black.
throw.
Give something lifelink, flying life. 2/1 flying lifelink. I mean, that does work.
Public there for any color land that you have to pay 1 mana for, basically.
Yeah, I don't. You can get better fixing than that. But I mean, yeah, like I was saying, like he could not get clearer signals right now of what to do. Slice from the shadows. Okay, more removal. I mean, I feel like. I mean, he's like obviously needs to pick up creatures, but like he's got lots of removal. Like he could just focus on creatures now going forward, more or less.
Yeah, we're gonna get into some weaker sets here where you don't have these like strong packs where everything's a where if you 1 for 1, you're not gonna be
Yeah,
unhappy
this
about
card
it.
is just not good.
It's going in the deck.
It can't block. What does the fast
I
damage
don't
do when
think
it deals combat damage?
it
You
hurts the
mill two
opponent.
cards
For,
and you can pump it. Yeah, that
uh,
card's not that exciting. Okay, well, I was gonna say okay, he opened an uncolor, but this card doesn't actually do very much.
uh,
This
I
card does
remember
not actually
this.
do very much. I think I would go for the uh, probably the Diver Scab. Yeah, this is an uncolor rare, but it's not very good.
It'll probably wheel, I would imagine.
The Diver Scab was pretty decent though.
So, Barb Servitor, whenever it takes damage, you hurt them for that much.
The
But if
problem
they
is
let
that it
it through,
can't
you don't.
block though. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
it's a suspected creature.
Yeah, so opponent could just be like, okay, I'll take one, and then I lose one or draw a card. It's like for 4 mana, that's very bad. That you play a creature it
Yep,
can't block, and then if it has an attack, they can just let it through, and then just attack you back
yep,
with things that are bigger. Looks like
yep.
he read Runo Stromkirk and said, "Yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this." It looks like he is
Okay.
selecting. He was coming close to selecting the Brambleworm, but I like this.
Put something on top or bottom of the deck, or maybe it's only one of the two. I can't remember. If you
I think
exploit,
this was it was top or bottom. You have to sack a creature when it comes in.
yeah, so
All right.
exploit.
Desperate Farmer was a solid card. The Doomed Dissenter is okay. I'd be looking at those, I
Tap
think.
water. Desperate Farmer is pretty solid. I would say it often can attack for 4 lifelink on a turn after you play it.
Yeah.
But you need synergy to sack something usually,
Yeah.
which I
Well,
don't
I
know if
mean, he
I'll
already
find
has
that.
two. He does need sack fodder because he already has two cards that want to sack things. The Vow Mutilator must sack something, and the Diverse Scab, you ideally would like to have something to sack.
Yeah, that's insert synergy there, the with the scab, and will eventually he might find
Well, the
what do you
Desperate
call
Farmer
it?
wasn't the one you would want to sack. The Doomed Dissenter was more the one that you wanted to.
Oh, I know, but eventually you should be able to find those zombies that die. I can't remember. Why can't I remember the
Well,
name? The zombies that
if
die
you're looking
when
for sack fodder, we have a persistent specimen. You're talking about the decayed tokens
they're decayed.
from Midnight Hunt. Yeah.
Yeah, decayed.
Well, it's a good thing
So
that they
that'd be
didn't
next,
put exploit and decayed tokens in the same set because that would have just been really unpleasant.
but we can play it here.
So here's Fear of Death, which was tragically misused before Duskmourn came around.
Fear of death.
Yeah, well, Duskmourn had all the Fear of cards, and then we have like these great named Fear of
Oh,
Death wasted on this throwaway aura here.
oh no! Yeah, that was an unused card too. That's why I didn't recognize it.
Yeah, so Blood Crazed Socialite is okay. Um, I mean, 4 mana 3/3 that comes with a blood that has menace is pretty good.
He's highlighting Circle of Confinement though. It's a rare.
No, that one's an uncommon.
Really, it looked like a rare
So
from
he did
here.
take the
From
Socialite here, which is a pretty nice one. So 4 mana 3/3 menace comes with a blood. Whenever it attacks, you can sack a blood and give it +2/+2. But it's just a 4 mana 3/3 menace that can smooth out your draw a little. Like nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so we're sort of seeing the slight decay as we'll see decayed tokens later. The slight decay in
Oh,
quality in the cards as we travel back through time. Somebody's going to get two Circle of Confinement, so. But I mean, he's
yeah,
pretty locked in here now. His neighbors gave an extraordinarily clear signal that he would have been pretty foolish to ignore. I would say.
if he doesn't get Stromkirk back, I'll be
I
surprised.
really like that scavenger.
Yeah, Dargoth Scavenger is a similar card in this newest set.
Yeah, but being a
Before,
4/2 is I find a lot worse than a 2/3 Death Touch. Like
yeah, I've played a lot of Dargoth
yeah,
Scavenger.
yeah, this card's like quite a bit better. I would say significantly.
Specimen can't be too bad if he's trying to sack some stuff exploit.
Yeah, it's okay.
He doesn't have too
Yeah, he has two
much.
exploit cards. Or does he have one or two? No, he has two because he picked up the repository scob, which is also an exploit creature. It gets back an instant or sorcery.
Yeah, they're right next to each other in the 4 and 5 slots
Yeah,
there.
so it would be in his best interest to pick up cards like Persistent Specimen and a Doom Dissenter. Maybe he saw a couple. Maybe one of them wheels. It's not a
This pick was
super.
another farmer.
Yeah, he took another farmer. Yeah, I think he's hoping for one of the Doom Dissenters to wheel because there was two of them,
Oh,
and they're not a super desirable card.
well, it's a good curve to put something sacrificable into Desperate Farmer into Repository Scob. So
Yeah, nothing too great here. Scott, take your pick of a mediocre two drop.
no, 2 drops or 2 drops.
Yeah, that
This
one.
is
I
meant
believe
to
if you
work
discarded a
with.
card at end step, it flips into a 3/3.
Yeah, but it was meant to be working with blood tokens, so you
Yeah,
could discard easily.
yeah. He's not really discarding too much, but I mean, you're hoping not to play that in your two drop slot. Here's another one, but here's a specimen. Might want another specimen.
That 3/3 drains when it attacks. Much it's just drains for 1
Oh, the backside
on the
of
back.
the recluse.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. All right. So again, packs going. You can't expect too much from some of these. I mean, it doesn't feel like an old set, but older set. We'll say.
he's going to have to play heavy black with all these murders. I must say, he's going to have to make sure there's enough black
I
sources.
mean, I like the fact that like after two packs, he was like almost set on removal. Like he barely needs to take any removal now. Just focus
Yeah,
on the
but I'm
creatures.
saying those times you get 1 black source, going to be
Oh,
rough.
there's the
So
Doom
he should be
Dissenter. That's very nice.
an absolute bomb.
I mean, it's solid. It's what you want if you're playing things that require sackable creatures.
Yep. Um, we got Midnight Hunt. Then what was it before Surf?
It's going to be Theros after that, I believe.
There was it. The packs I took in League
Yeah. So
consequences.
of note, Black was extraordinarily strong in Theros, so much so that it was usually correct to draft Black regardless of how many of your neighbors were in it.
I always like having my graveyard as a resource, at least a little bit. So Theros is great for that.
So Skulking Killer was a card that like looked like it might do something, and it was like completely unplayable.
Yeah, one of the worst cards in the set, I think.
Yeah, it almost read like something that would be playable, but it was just yeah.
Unhallowed Phalanx, right in the sideboard.
113. Yeah.
Change of Fortune, don't main deck that.
It's yeah. So right now he still has that killer, and so that's quite the rare, but unfortunately can't touch that.
The Daring Angel,
But
yeah.
there is an Organ
Now,
Hoarder, so I imagine he wants that. I think the Organ Hoarder will be slightly worse in Chaos, but still really good.
yeah, why not?
Because in Midnight Hunt you had Disturb and you had Flashback, so like it was frequently like almost like draw three cards.
Yeah,
He's
we
running
haven't
the
seen
Enduring
this
Angel here, but
triple white.
Yeah, I don't know if he played Midnight Hunt because anybody who played Midnight Hunt would just immediately just snap the Organ Horn. Okay, he's getting to it.
Yeah, but great. I mean, actually, we're playing Theros, and this is why I love Chaos. If you've got some escape going on, the thing's
Yeah, and
gonna
I
feed
mean
your
you
escape.
could dump. He has. I mean, I don't know if he's going to play all three persistent specimen, but throwing those in the graveyard is good. So, and he
Yeah,
has a chance
there's,
to
I
pick
mean,
up.
the third,
There was blue card. Blue cards had Disturb in this set, so he has a chance to pick up those. I mean, Organ Hoarder is just good. The more the more cards that want to be put in the graveyard that you can find, the better.
oh, you got a Mask of Grizzlebrand as the rare here.
Yeah,
I
that
gotta
card, it
think
was
that
like, it would cost 6 mana before it did anything, but it did give flying and lifelink. But his creatures are trending pretty small overall, which makes it a little bit worse.
if it's not a tempo-oriented game, it can really be the win, a way to win. But it is slow.
Yeah, I
I
think
think
you
I would.
still take it. It's just strong enough. The Scab Wrangler was also pretty good.
It gives flying lifelink, right? And when it dies, you
Yeah,
gives you
you
that many.
pay life equal to the power and draw that many cards. It does not give a power boost though, and it's 6 mana before it does anything, so it's a lot to ask. But flying and lifelink is so strong.
You can side it out if there's some deck that punishes you at instant speed for trying to equip an attack.
Yeah, I mean it's fun seeing these old sets here. I don't mind them. All right.
Oh, hello.
Well, that's a board wipe. Jeez. Okay. Could have had a couple of white cards that were really good, but this Disturb guy seems right up his alley of what he would want.
Disturb the guy. Oh, the overwhelmed archivist.
Yeah, so it's a 3 mana 3/2 that loots when it comes in, and then on the backside it's a 2/1 flyer that loots every time it attacks. I believe quite strong.
Sounds familiar.
I think he's seeing if white is possible, but it's already pack four here, and we got the three Demir rares. Like for better or for worse, he's locked in more or less.
Yeah, that's what that card is. He's reading it right now.
Yeah, that card was
Morkit
card, card
Behemoth.
was quite good.
Morkit Behemoth. It wasn't a great card in this set. It looked like it would be okay because of the decayed zombies, but it just kind of wasn't.
Yeah, it was just some big. It was just a big thing that didn't protect. It didn't come in and do anything. It didn't do anything when it attacks. It was just big.
So yeah, it's hard to block effectively
We have
too.
there was Secrets of the Key in that pack as well. The 11
Yeah,
mana Ancestral Recall.
yeah, ancestral recall.
I mean,
Oh,
this
Olivia's
Ecstatic
Midnight
Awakener
Ambush.
seems good with all the persistent specimens and whatnot.
Olivia's Midnight Ambush not going to be nearly as strong when it can't be nighttime,
I
but I remember
mean, when
Tricky
we have
City.
four murders, we don't really need a -2/-2.
Oh,
He's reading it. I mean, it's not going to be night.
unless his opponent makes it night for him.
Croaking Counterpart was a fun card. Unfortunately, he can't take it. But Ecstatic Awakener was really good. This card was like a
For sure.
sleeper card. Like it looked really unassuming. Okay, he's just gonna
Yeah,
take a bit more
maybe
removal here, which is fine.
it wasn't hard to set up a 4 damage attack on
Yeah,
turn
I
3.
was looking at the
And draw.
Awakener, but he said I want a bit more removal, and I mean that.
He took Midnight Hunt?
Yeah, the midnight,
I mean,
whatever it's
Olivia's
called.
Midnight Ambush.
Yeah, midnight ambush. The -2,
I
-2.
mean, it's just, it's going to be -2/-2 for 2 mana. We get that for 1 mana now.
Startle was a pretty good trick. I'm looking at Startle.
Yeah,
Oh, looks like you might want the Geist Ray. It was just a bounce spell.
it's
Okay.
interactive.
Yeah, it's return an online permanent, and you draw a card if you return your own permanent.
But Shady Travel at nighttime, so Olivia's could potentially -13, -13.
I always liked Startle. I mean, it was especially good in this set, but I still think that what it leaves behind is really nice. But I think he took the bounce spell there, which is, again, fine. That's a bit more of the
It's
interaction.
interactive.
Nothing wrong with that. Let's see.
Beta Angler was a secret strong card just because it's a 2-drop that turned into something else.
Siege Zombie was
If
a
you played it
very,
off.
very strong card, too, for a 2 drop.
Definitely, yeah. And it made your decayed zombies actually contribute to damage
Yeah,
most
I
of the
mean, the
time.
Bidhook
If you
Angler was
run
okay, but the 1/2 flyer was just such like a nothing on the other side. It's like, yes, it's a 2 for 1. Like, you trade for something. or you just dump it in your graveyard some other way and you get a 1/2 flyer. But the 1/2 flyer is so low impact. I mean, it's still a good card,
I'm not,
but it's about as low impact as
yeah,
a backside that you could find.
yeah, I think you should definitely take zombie. It's just the one I remember in draft. It was just something important to have.
Yeah, like basically every black deck, no matter what deck it was into one of those.
Oh, yeah, some and mill synergies too.
I don't
Getting in
mind
the
the
graveyard.
interloper here. It's good. Like the arrogant outlaw is just whatever. I mean, all of them
Two
are
mana,
kind of
two and
whatever.
fire.
Surprised he still has the
This is when two mana,
skulking
two and
killer in there though.
this is when 2 mana, two and flyers had a drawback instead of pumping out berries.
Well, that was a common. You're talking about uncommon. But yeah, I just took the arrogant outlaw. I would not expect to want to play that, but you never know. Wow, what?
Sigarda.
Well, that's 7 people that aren't playing Celestia. I'll tell you that much.
Well, last pack we saw the signpost uncommon that it's not wasn't too great in the
Oh, the
set, but
paladin. Yeah,
yeah, it was passing around. I'm sure that has great synergies and with other sets also,
yeah. This card
but that
was like
wasn't.
very bad.
Yeah, that's all I remember about it.
I mean, consider. I can't really go wrong with that.
Yeah, I like to consider.
And now it's
Wait, it doesn't say
and now
surveil.
it's a much cleaner text on Arena now. It just says Surveil one.
Doesn't, yeah, it does not say surveil.
Well, no, the on Arena it'll say Surveil. Okay,
Yeah,
duress sideboard card in case he sees a planeswalker or something silly like that. Side in a duress.
constructed playable.
I think Mysterious Tome is like probably playable. I remember
There
that
are
card
worse cards.
being like pretty okay.
There are worse
It's like
cards.
half the time it's a card draw, the other half of the time it's a icy manipulator. Like that's it's really not bad. It's just you can't really, it alternates, so sometimes the timing is off for it to work the way you need it to.
Yeah, that's the one more awkward thing about it.
Yeah, but a very, very cool design. I really like that card actually. Interesting they took out the socialite, but still left in this killer and the barb servitor. But we'll see. He still has break down the door in there, I
Yeah,
assume. Okay, just as I said it.
yeah. There's tons of cuts to make before the final iteration.
Yep. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
still
shipwreck.
yeah. He's already like above playables. Of
He
note,
took this.
he does have quite a few rares now, so we should have been keeping track.
Hmm,
I think he's up to 3 or 4 rares.
forgot about that. Yep.
Wow,
Chip tested.
Succession Champion is would have been a bomb, but
There's a final death there.
the final
It's
death.
not
There's
like
Omen of the
major.
Sea too. Yeah, so what's it? His rare
Uh,
count? At least in his deck, he has Barb Servitor. He has those 3 Demir cards he picked up. Does he have other rares?
um,
That's 4 at least.
can't remember offhand. Final death costs two more than murder. It exiles
Yeah,
only one pip.
I mean his curve's pretty like not high, so taking a 5-drop removal here is alright. Yeah, so he is going to be playing
Yeah.
with 64 or more cards deck here. I mean, when we go through the pools after, we'll actually be able to see exactly um, how many extra cards people are going to have to play. So that'll be interesting to take note of when we go through the pools after. Whoa, that's what you like to see.
Uh-huh. So when something dies, you get a 1/1 copy of it.
Yeah, whenever a non-token dies, it comes exiles. You get a 1/1 token. Very very nice.
Dreamland Chimera is a pretty cool card to play with as well. Maybe that'll wheel. Probably not
Yeah,
though.
I heard people were doing cool stuff with that in Duskmourn League, bouncing rooms and whatnot,
Bouncing rooms, yeah. The three
and other things
persistent
too,
specimens.
like nowhere to run,
I didn't realize he
etc.
was at. I didn't realize he was at 3 specimens. That's the beginnings of a synergistic deck there.
Yeah, I don't
Not
think you
sure
wanna.
how.
I don't think you wanna say accept though or take action when the Nightmare Shepherd's in play and the specimen dies. But
Probably
it
not.
is a May, I believe, so you can
There's
opt not
probably
to.
some. Too.
Yeah, no, that was not. Wow, okay.
Another murder
More
variant. All
removal.
right. Murder
I
was
mean, you
different.
don't say no to removal. So this one is exile a creature or planeswalker, and I believe the updated wording is surveil one.
Yeah. Mogi's Favor is one of my favorite cards to play with, not only in this league, but when I was in Theros Draft in general.
Oh yeah, I really love that card. I actually put that in my popper cube, and people actually have people liked it. So
You
it
can
was a
do a bunch of stuff with
unusual
it.
choice, but I mean, you're just taking removal here.
Better than final,
I I would
whatever it
say
is.
he's probably good on removal now.
Yeah, how many instant black removal? Like six?
He has Eat to Extinction, Final Death, four murders. He has the -4/-4 enchantment. He has a -2/-2 as well.
Oh,
So
you had
he's
Servitude
pretty
also.
set. I mean, this Gorgon here is pretty okay, milling three when it comes in.
Yeah, I mean, a couple replaceable cards also
Okay,
you
it looks
can
like
choose
you might
from.
want Glimpse of Freedom just as maybe like a grindy card if the game goes super late. It's just a source of card advantage.
Yeah, it's card draw.
Well, I mean, the first time you cast it, it's not, but every future iteration, it is.
He's got to think about his curve, I guess, and what he's missing at this point.
Yeah, like he's got a bunch of twos and threes, but a lot of them are cards that you would want to be replaced. I'm kind of into the
Ivon's
temple just for smoothing. Just like
interesting. Yeah.
have a tapped Scryland. The counter spell is
There
also
is
like
a
perfectly
counter.
fine.
There's a counter spell there that exiles an enchantment, or oh, he's
It's a
taking it right
creature
now.
enchantment, yeah.
Yeah. Hateful Avalon's a cool build around, but not for what's going
No,
on here.
not quite what you want here. Yeah, Deny the Divine's
Riptide
fine.
Portal.
He's going to be leaving mana up with all the murders and stuff, so I think Counterspell is a pretty good addition.
Aspect of the Lamprey, huh?
I
That's
mean,
a
Diet of Hidden Cove seems like something you can make use of with all the instant speed removal.
yeah, that's probably right. Make your murders cost black.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good card. I mean, in OTJ we got it with flying, right? It was the same card, but now had flying.
Yeah,
Geyser Drake, I think it was called.
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, Naiad, I think is actually pretty good in what he's doing.
yeah. He's got a bunch of instant speed interaction.
Yeah, just making all that cost less is going to be really nice. Ichthyomorphosis, I think I don't think he needs that. If I would if I would guess.
Hmm.
All right, so we got the Hierophant here. Yeah, so for the last pack, I'm not sure which bonus sheet is being used because if you remember with Shadows over Innistrad Remastered, it was up for like 4 weeks, but every week had a different bonus sheet.
He's never done that before, besides
Um,
that time.
yeah, and so it was all cards from the original Innistrad block, uh, and there was different themes.
Yeah, and
Like
on
one of them
Draft
was
Mancer,
graveyard, like flashing back spells. One of them was, I think, humans. One of them was just good stuff. I think, like the last one. Well, I think one had like a sacrifice theme. Like they had themes. So I don't know which one we're getting here, but I guess
last time I looked on Draft Mancer, you can just choose which one of the four you wanted. I'm not sure which one was taken, but
yeah.
we'll find out.
All right, so nothing here for him. Just take a card out of the draft. Yeah, I mean,
No,
I like the way this is shaping up. Like we saw earlier, he sort of was forced into this deck, not like against his will, but like got past three Dimir rares and they're all good. Like it's not like he got past junky rares. Like Itrata, Lazav, and Drag the Canal are all just very good cards. I don't mind
Under,
having the an escape card there, but it looks like you just put the horse right in the sideboard,
yeah,
and that card's actually a horse. Okay,
yeah.
for
The three
for
mana,
those who
three
know,
three.
that card's actually a horse.
3 mana, 3 3 can't block, but
Yeah,
if you want
he
to use
does
your
have an
graveyard,
escape card, the card draw spell, but so maybe he figures if I'm going to be exiling cards from my graveyard, it'll be for that. All right, so yeah, so just to catch up on the rarity here, he's got four in his.
it's
Oh no, he's got seven.
7.
Plus, there's
The
other ones that you drafted.
Inquisitor.
There was like that red card that he got last pick, the Change of Fortune or whatever it's called.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it
That's
counts
good.
everyone that you've taken, not just what's in your deck. You know what?
Oh, I thought I saw seven
I'm always
in
a
the deck.
sucker for they printed these for a few sets. These 5 mana black creatures that give something a better attack when they come in. I kind of like that card.
Yeah, they're replaceable, but sometimes they dominate.
Yeah, there was one in Call Time that gave it to 2 creatures. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for that, especially because his card's pretty low, so it's okay to have like a high drop even if it's a little bit of a clunker. But he just threw something or other in the sideboard. All right, last pack here.
Got a
I
PW.
got a Fiend Hunter and a Tameo. Don't like to
There's
see.
a
He doesn't
rise
like to
from
see
the
it bad.
grave. Vile Mutilator finds his 5 mana rise from the grave.
I mean, Rise from the
From
Grave. I mean, he doesn't really have many targets, but it does put it from any graveyard. But like he's lacking, sorely lacking, like really good enough targets to play that card.
I just find it funny because the Vile Mutilator was meant to be resurrected from 5 packs ago set,
So
but it's
Fiend Hunter,
still
I believe, was
found.
on the Humans Matter bonus sheet, so that might be the one that we're getting here. It looks like you might be just taking an Overworld Mysteries out of the draft because that card is extremely frustrating to play against.
It's a great one.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very low chance you end up playing against any card, any one specific card that you've passed, but yeah, black blue famously can't deal with enchantments, so
That Tameo might very well make someone's deck.
yeah, I mean, it's not insanely strong. Like splashing it, like
I have no idea what it does. If I'm being
it's
honest.
okay. Wow, that's a good card too, the Sigarda. But as we saw, nobody is Selesnya. So the Tameo, the plus
Ugh.
one is you choose 2 creatures, and until your next turn, whenever those creatures deal combat damage, period, you draw a card. So it could be to a creature. And the -2 is like you tap 2 things and they don't untap for a turn.
No stun counters.
And then I believe the ultimate is like you draw 3 cards, you get an Omniscience emblem, as if you were playing
Okay.
Omniscience Draft on Arena.
Are we gonna see someone splashing for the Selesnya bombs that have passed?
I
Though
mean,
they would have to done that late. If they're in green, they can kind
I
of
mean,
easily
the
splash.
other Sigarda is a little harder to ask. It's double white, and it doesn't do as much. It's like if you have Coven, you can go look for a human. This one is just a 4/5 flying that gives all your humans hexproof, and it makes humans. It's like you pay 2 mana,
Yeah.
exile a card from your graveyard, make a 1/1. Like that card's just like pretty much like a bomb. The other Sigarda is very good in Selesnya. This one is just straight up like a bomb. But he took the Barter in Blood, which I guess is kind of good because he has a bunch of junky creatures. That's each player sacks 2 creatures for 4 mana.
I love me some ruthless disposal.
Yeah, that's a cool one. I think a Curse Witch is enough better here.
It is good. It's a removal. Is that a removal spell in the back?
Where?
I
Which
don't
one?
remember. The cursed
No,
witch.
it's a enchantment that drains one every turn, I believe.
Oh, I'm thinking of a card from Midnight Hunter or something.
Oh, you think of the Curse of Leeches, the rare, right?
Possibly. Yeah, I do remember this witch though. Now it drains.
Yeah. So, what do you think
It's
about
not
the
a
the
set of
Barter in Blood? Do you think that's going to be good in his deck? The 4 mana sorcery, each player sacrifices 2.
Oh, he's got enough removal to be honest.
Yeah, he does have a lot of sack fodder, but I feel like there was a card there was like the Ingenious Scab in that pack, which I like quite a lot. Geese's Bidding is an okay card. I mean,
Oh
Skeleton
yeah.
kind of like he already has the persistent specimen, which is better than the skeleton. So
Is it better because it costs
it
two?
costs
No,
less. It costs 3 to put it into play, and this one costs 3 to put in your hand.
in your hand. Yeah, that's the difference. Okay,
Yeah,
no
so
need for
yeah,
that.
so I don't think he needs the skeleton. I think he's checking on creature here.
And then reassembling skeleton was 2 and 2, right?
Yeah, I mean
He
the
doesn't have
Geese's
that one,
Bidding
no.
looks pretty nice. This flyer is like it's a 5 out of 3/4, and you can discard 2 cards to bring it back. Like it's so junky. Yeah, Geese's
He's just
Bidding.
bidding no
I think
matter.
he was
There's not
checking if
much.
he had any discard. He has a couple of looting type things, but
Other
there's a Darling
planeswalker.
Cord. Jeez, okay. Court's another one that's like very good, but I wouldn't say like um, insanely broken. But I would not blame him if he decided to take it out of the draft.
Gavin Unhallowed, I mean, it's not great, but he's got sacrificable stuff.
Yeah, Gavin, that was a card that like got like it got big. Like you put two counters on that, it's a monster. But it's slow to start off. 4 mana 2/4 is not really great. Okay, looks like he doesn't not too scared about Arlen Cord perhaps. Oh, this Corpse Trawler was so medium.
Corpse Trawler is a Demir card, right? Four
Yeah,
mana
so it's four
one.
mana, 1/1, make a 2/2, pay 3, target zombie gains death touch. Thunder turn.
Yuck.
Yeah, it's just was just bad on every metric. I mean,
Nothing.
I keep saying like maybe he's thinking about taking the rare out of the draft, but like I keep forgetting that it's at a cost, right? Taking rares out of the draft
Even
comes at a very steep cost. It means
it's
he
one
has to
that
put
was a
more
very
cards in his
strong
deck.
rare,
So now I'm
and it was a
understanding
very
why he's been hesitant to steal the rares away, even if they
it's
are
a really
costly.
strong one too. That the alphas
Yeah, the alpha
really
is
good.
terrifying. I mean, he just has a bunch of murders, so you know that's like a classic, dies to murder because it's a 6 mana card that doesn't do anything when it comes in.
Yep,
Okay, so
it's
we're
a
we're, we're
flyer.
getting to the tail end of the draft here. We'll see if he picks up any more solid playables. But
It comes late.
yeah, I mean, he was told very early on that something was open, and he received three really good rares, like almost in a row. I think it was like 3 out of 4. But like it was like pick two and then like pick four and pick five or something like that. And it was just people said, "Yep, we're not playing this. You can." And he said, "Okay." And black has been consistently open throughout the draft. Blue sometimes yes, sometimes no. Like the blue cards aren't incredible, but black has just been solidly open throughout the whole draft, and he's uh, he's found his lane here with many copies of Murder.
They printed murder in how many of these sets? Only two?
It might have been, I know it was an Eldritch Moon, so it might have showed up in Shadows
Wow.
Remastered, but it was at Uncom. I don't know, maybe.
We didn't open it anyway.
Yeah, so this is going to be very your classic like remove everything and win with whatever's left over deck. Like his creature quality is it's okay. Like basically it's just kill stuff and win with like a 3/3, or a 3/2. Just attack him a bunch of times, murder stuff, and get through that
Yeah,
way.
no lack of creatures. Has a graph rats. Funny.
Yeah, Graph Rats. That card got a lot worse because the Meld card was uncommon in the online remastered version. Like in Eldritch
Oh,
Moon in paper, they were both common.
I didn't know they were both common originally.
So the meld would happen sometimes, but yeah. When they bring back meld, oh, it was like Brothers War that they brought back meld randomly.
Yeah, both Mishra and Urza,
Yeah.
and Titania.
Yep. All right. So that closed out the draft here for Aaron. I believe this was his first top 8. So did not mention that at the outset, but congratulations to him for making his first top 8 and drafting pretty okay looking blue black deck here. Lots of removal, a few good rares, and hopefully just leverage the removal and win with whatever creatures he has at his disposal. So we'll be back in a little bit to look at all the pools and see how many cards people are going to have to run in their decks. So looking forward to that. We'll be back with that in a moment.